This podcast is brought to you by Podspot Events.
Should everyone follow a carnivore diet? What about making the change from traditional whey protein powder to collagen protein powder? These are just some of the questions I asked the guest on this episode, Veronika Larisova, co-founder of Chief Nutrition. Chief Nutrition started in Bondi around 9 years ago and offer a range of products from beef bars to collagen protein powder. Chief have also came on board as a sponsor for the podcast, so if you listen to this episode and you like what Veronika has to say and you like the sound of some of the Chief products, you can use the link in the show notes to get 10% off all Chief products. My personal favourite is the chocolate peanut butter collagen bar, which I have as a healthy snack every day to make sure I get my protein in. Also a big thanks to our other sponsors, Remote Tea and Cameron's Tallow Balm, but I'll tell you a bit more about the both of them later. I hope you enjoy this episode, and remember to give us a follow on Instagram at the Bondi Podcast to stay up to date with all of our guests and episodes. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and you'll find all of our episodes on Spotify. Cheers! Veronika, welcome to the Bondi Podcast.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming in. Look, Veronika, the first question we ask all of our guests is, what is your favourite thing about Bondi?
Two favorite things, but they're kind of the same thing. The people and the community that the people create. I just really love the people at Bondi. You know, like there are so many beautiful beaches around the world and in Australia, but Bondi is very, very special because it attracts certain type of people. There are a lot of entrepreneurs, fit people, dream chasers. It's just really good vibe in that regard. And I also like that all these people mix together, and when you come, like let's say to the 440, the run club, they can be someone who is a self-made millionaire and someone who works at a Woolworths cashier, and they all hang out together and no one cares and no one knows. And I just love that.
Everyone's like just as sweaty.
Everyone is sweaty, everyone is fit. Like every time my friends come here from other parts of the world or other parts of Australia, they always say they have never seen a place with so many fit people in one spot and everyone is exercising. You get outside at 5 a.m, it's still pitch black in the winter and everyone is already running, training, like swimming. It's next level. I've traveled a lot around the world. I've traveled more than other people, I'd say. And I have never seen any other place like that.
Yeah, it's amazing. One of the things you said there stood out to me, and that was the fact that you've got like a millionaire standing next to a Woolies cashier, but they're both at that start line of the 440 about to go up that hill. That's one of my favorite things about Bondi. Like this street here, so Lamrock Avenue, you've got like a backpackers right in the middle of Lamrock Avenue. These probably kids with like next to no money. They're just living sort of paycheck to paycheck. But all the houses surrounding them are like $6 million houses, right? And it's just, it's the fact that you've got, as I said, those people who are, you know, fairly affluent living next to like a backpackers where, you know, these kids are just...
And not just living next to each other, but doing things together.
Yes.
Like I grew up in Europe, so did you. And it doesn't happen in Europe.
No.
Rich people stick to their own and then like it's very separated. And here it's all mixed together and that's what I love.
Yeah.
Can get free business advice. I can hang out with all these people that already have successful businesses and just ask them for advice after the 440 coffee or at the beach or whatever. Like, and everyone is so friendly and happy to help. Like, it's really good like that.
That's great. The one thing I'm going to try and introduce into the podcast, Veronika, I ask all my guests, like, what's your favorite thing? What would you change? Or what's your least favorite thing?
My least favorite thing. The parking is really expensive, which I don't care about because I live here, but I feel sorry for the people they come here to visit. And I'd say, look, I love Bondi because I'm at the stage of my life that I don't really want to party and I leave mostly early in the morning and I go to bed early. But it would be nice to have a little bit of nightlife. What I remember when I first moved here, it was a lot of fun and there was a lot of events. One thing that I miss, they used to have this festival called the Shore Thing. And it was like a New Year's Eve festival on the beach and they have like David Guetta and Snoop Dogg and everyone was dancing on the beach. I'd still go to that now if it was like at least sometimes. I think that Bondi has lost that, like the fun, like the nightlife, but then there's a lot of other things to do during the day. And I think a lot of the really healthy cafes disappeared. Like there's a lot of nice places to eat, but a lot of them are not very healthy. And there used to be so many cool ones like Bondi Whole Foods and About Life and things like that, and that all got shut down. So I think probably a little bit more fun and a little bit more healthy cafes to go.
It's very on brand, Veronika. Just a quick word from me, guys. We're making some progress, Bondi podcast listeners. We're up to 450 followers on Spotify and 150 subscribers on YouTube. I would love to get both of those numbers closer to 500 across both platforms. So I've got a quick favor to ask. If you haven't, could you please quickly pause this episode, go and hit the subscribe and follow buttons on both platforms. It really helps with the show and ensures we can keep bringing quality guests and episode to you guys. Cheers. We're here today to talk about Chief Nutrition. And we had a chat a few weeks ago, and it's a bit of a crazy story about sort of how Chief Nutrition was founded. I think the origin of the story was you were doing the Kokoda Track in Papua New Guinea. Yeah. So if you can take us back there, for those listening who maybe don't know what the Kokoda Track is, what is the Kokoda Track and how did you doing the Kokoda Track eventually lead to you founding Chief Nutrition?
Okay, so long story though. Kokoda Track is a memorial track in Papua New Guinea. It goes through the jungle. It's 96 kilometers. And that's where Australian fought Japanese and pretty much prevented Japanese from invading Australia. And a lot of Australians do it as like a memorial thing to pay respect to the soldiers and all that, and to, commemorate, I should say, what our history is and how, Australia stayed independent and so on.
And is that why you did it, Veronika?
Yeah, I did it because I was about to become Australian citizen and I wanted to do all the Aussie things everyone does. So I did, went to Melbourne Cup in Melbourne and did the Kokoda Track, just wanted to really immerse myself into it. So anyway, did the Kokoda Track, and the thing is that the track, it's just really jungle. There is no running water, no shops. There's people that live there live in mud huts. You literally drink the water in a river that you also wash yourself in, and then the animals piss in. It's just, and so whatever you bring with you, that's what you can eat. But if there's nothing else, there's no other resource, so you can't bring anything that needs to be refrigerated or anything that goes off. So everyone was bringing protein bars and canned stuff and just chips and all the shit food that I don't really eat. The other thing about Kokoda is it's well known for having really vile stomach issues. Everyone gets really vile diarrhea from the water. Even if you filter it, everyone just gets it. And we all did. And so I was thinking, I'm already getting this. I don't want to make it worse by eating food that also makes me sick on the top of it. So I just really didn't know what to bring. I'm celiac, so I can't have anything that's with wheat. I don't eat anything that's good artificial additives, nothing that's ultra processed. So not very many options left. It's not like you can bring a banana with you and keep it in a bag for a week in a heat. So I ended up bringing lots of biltong, which is South African air-dried meat, and nuts, and then some dried berries, just dried berries. It was at the time, the paleo diet was very popular and I was just eating meat for breakfast anyway, so it was fine. So I brought it in separate bags, the nuts, the meat, and the berries, and then I ended up mixing it and making trail mix out of it. And it was getting really soggy and it looked disgusting, but it tastes really delicious. And in the end, everyone got sick of their protein bars and everyone wanted my trail mix. But
did you share?
No, I had gave them a little bit. I didn't have enough. I'm I don't have enough. Sorry, I'm not gonna give you any more. So anyway, then I was really happy with it. And then I came back and I used to work at the gym that was owned by a couple, Justin and Libby, who are now my business partners. And they asked me, what did you eat while you were there? Because they knew how difficult I am with food. And so I explained to them and they're like, oh, that sounds disgusting. I'm like, no, actually, it's good. I made it for them, let them try. They liked it. And I was saying, it was good, but it was getting really soggy and it's messy. It would actually be good to have a meat bar, have all that stuff in a bar. So I'm I have to find if there is a meat bar. So I Googled it and there was a meat bar in the US, one brand, and I couldn't get it shipped to Australia. They didn't ship to Australia.
Why not?
I don't know. They just didn't, like, you couldn't order it to, like, lots of American, like, meat products. I think even vice versa.
Difficult to get
We
in
can't
over the
send meat
border.
products
Yeah.
there, and they can't send them here. So I couldn't order it. But funnily enough, I was going to LA about like 2 months after the Kokoda Trail. So I went to LA, bought every single flavor of those meat bars and tried it, and it was terrible. It was like a slimy dog food. I brought some back to my now business partners, and I showed it to them, and they're like, "No, that's disgusting." And Justin, one of my business partners, is saying, "Oh, maybe we should try to make our own," and so we did.
So at the time, Justin was just running a gym. He'd never
No, Justin wasn't even running gym. He bought the gym with his wife, but he wasn't running it. He was like doing all the background stuff, but he had a tech startup business, like an app. And that's what he was doing. Libby, his wife, had the gym. I was a head trainer and exercise physiologist at the gym, and we worked together for about 8 years.
So no one had worked in nutrition at this point?
No, I was really interested in nutrition, but I actually went back to uni and studied nutrition a year after we launched the business.
Okay, so from having that conversation with Justin and Libby, where you've agreed to give this a crack, what happened next? Talk us through that. Those initial days.
Then Justin found on LinkedIn a food technologist, a food scientist, and approached him about developing the product for us. And so we hired him for that. And then it took like 6 months, I think, until we had the finished product with the packaging and everything, with the design. The design was done by Libby's sister. So it was kind of a family affair. Justin did the website, like everyone did a little bit.
And it was just a meat bar?
It was just a meat bar. We had the meat bar, we had one beef bar and one lamb bar. So only those two products.
And how did you launch?
I don't exactly remember. We didn't have any official launch because we didn't have any money left, to be honest, to splurge. But one of the like highlights, we went to the CrossFit Games in Wollongong. That was like a regional CrossFit Games, kind of like Australia and Asia championships, very big event. And we didn't even have a proper stand. We couldn't afford it. We had like this little plastic stand that you have like at the store samplings, and it was Libby and I, and we only had 800 bars. That's all we had, and we sold them all in that weekend.
Wow.
So that was like a big indicative of the fact that we're doing something right, and then people will like it.
So you guys took a bit of a punt here. You guys, sounds like you put a good bit of your own money into...
I put all my money in it. I lend money from friends,
Wow.
lend money from a bank. Justin and Libby put all their savings into it, and that still wasn't enough. And then we got we knew a guy through, like, Libby and I were kind of like mini influencers, and we met a guy through another, he used to own another health product, and he started his own health food distribution company. And he took us on board, and he helped us a lot because we couldn't afford having stands at any of these expos. Like, let's say the last week's fitness expo I went to was $8,500 to have the stand. Those are the prices. We couldn't afford it. So this guy, his name is Brock, he would distribute our product, and he also let us come on his stand for free and promote our product and everything. And he loved the product so much that he then became our business partner as well. So he put money as well. And also we had his distribution company. So we had like all the resources and his knowledge and expertise, because he has been in the food industry his whole life. That's what he studied at uni. He developed many amazing products. They're very well known, and he had the distribution company, a lot of contacts. So that was probably one of the biggest game changers to us.
So when you're starting a new company like that, what is all the investment and savings all being spent on to try and get yourselves off the ground?
First of all, a lot of money was spent on developing the product, paying the food technologist, and then making the product, doing the packaging, and then advertising. You know, we started really small. We just did like a Facebook and an Instagram advertising, couldn't spend much money. But then you can see as more money we spend on the digital marketing and advertising, as more product we sell, as more the company grows. So at the moment, we're spending a lot of money on that. That's where a lot of the money goes.
Even today?
Even today, yeah.
Wow. So you don't do that yourselves internally? Veronika, do you outsource a lot of the...
Yeah, we have agencies for that.
Wow.
Yeah, we do we do the content, but then we have agencies like to run for us all the marketing and advertising.
Wow.
Yeah.
So how early into the chief journey was that CrossFit Games where you sold 800 bars?
I think it was the year we started.
Wow.
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay, so then from that point, what happened from there? Because obviously you've grown into something a lot bigger.
From that point, we didn't have any salespeople. We were the salespeople trying to like put it into local Bondi cafes and stores, and people really didn't want it in Bondi. It was in the thickest of vegan movement, and I was running around with meat bars. At the beginning, I didn't have the packaging. It was like in a see-through packaging, and it didn't look that great. And I was like forcing my friends to sell it in their shops and cafes, and they did. And then we had the packaging, but then something went wrong with the packaging and all the bars got molded. And so no one wanted to stock it afterwards. And I was like, you know, Brooke and I were like just running around asking people to stock it again. So we had a lot of issues to start with. It wasn't very smooth sailing. And also we started the company in 2015 and it's only doing well now. Like it's 9 years, you know, so it takes a long time.
Mm. And was there another moment along the way? So obviously you had that moment at the CrossFit Games in Wollongong where you sold 800 bars and you've established there's like a demand for this product. Was there like another big moment along the way that you thought, okay, no, this is working. We're doing something right here?
Yeah, I think, I don't know, it's hard to say. It's just like slowly, like, I think it's because people, as I said, it was like the start of, or like maybe it was like a vegan movement. Then it started the paleo movement, and the paleo people and the CrossFit people really wanted our product, so that it became more, you know, sought after. And there was no other meat bars, and there's still no other meat bar in Australia. So I think that paleo movement, the CrossFit, that definitely helped. And then also we started making other products that were more appealing to other people. Like
so what came next after the beef bar?
The collagen bars, because that time, around the 2017, a lot of the research about collagen being beneficial to human health started emerging. And so we made the collagen bars, which are sweet. Like the meat bars are savory, it's not for everyone. The collagen bars are sweet, they're more like replacement for chocolate or, you know, traditional protein bar and stuff. And I think that made a big difference as well. Yeah.
Do you have what would be the most popular product in the range today?
Well, at the moment, our best, for a very long time, it was the meat bar, even when we had the collagen bars. And now the best-selling product is our chocolate collagen protein powder.
Wow.
Yeah.
Why do you think that is?
I think because of the awareness of, the awareness of collagen and its benefits, because people are learning more and more about it and they want it. And also, a lot of people want to have protein in their shake or as a meal replacement, but a lot of people cannot tolerate whey protein or pea protein and things like that. And collagen doesn't matter, even if you don't want to take it for the collagen, it's still a protein and it doesn't irritate your gut. So a lot of people just take it because they want some protein and everything else just makes them bloated. And
are you trying to grow your business or brand but often find there aren't enough hours in the week? Have you considered hiring a virtual assistant to help with all those tasks that you don't want to do that could easily be delegated? I'm talking about admin, accounting, digital marketing, social media, and much, much more. Well, our show sponsors Remote provide businesses, entrepreneurs, and social media influencers with the top virtual assistant talent in the Philippines. If you're curious but still sitting on the fence, why not use the referral code Bondi to trial a virtual assistant for 2 weeks for absolutely free. That's 2 weeks, absolutely free. All you have to do is go to the website www.remoti.com.au/contact, enter your details, enter the referral code Bondi, and someone from Remoti will be in touch. I've added the link to the Remoti website in the Instagram bio, and there's also a link in the show notes. And if you're interested in sponsoring the podcast, please get in touch with us over Instagram. Cheers. So yeah, collagen protein powder, that's kind of where I wanted to take the conversation next. So you said like it started to pop off in sort of 2017, 2018. It's actually only something I've become aware of over the past year or so. So I take a collagen powder once a day, and I have done for sort of the last year now. And I've noticed a bit of a trend like across my friendship group and across other groups within Bondi. As you say, people swapping that regular protein powder for like collagen powder. So you touched on it a little bit there, but what is, for those people who don't know what collagen actually is, what is collagen, and again, why do you think people are making that switch?
Okay, so mini lecture.
That's why we've got you on the podcast, Veronika.
Mini lecture. Collagen is the main structural protein in connective tissues of humans and animals. So it represents about 60 to 80% of dry weight of tendons, about 80% of dry weight of skin, about 80% of the total protein in our bones, and then it's also in our gut lining and our myofascia. So a lot of connective tissue. It's probably around 30% of the total protein in your body. So the problem with collagen is that as we age, and that starts from about the age of 20, you produce about 1 to 2% of collagen less every year. And then from the age of 40, you have higher turnover of collagen. And then for women, even higher in their menopause. So after 40, you produce much less, but you utilize much more. And because of that, you start having more wrinkles, pains and aches in your joints. You might have some problems with your gut lining. People in like women in menopause often experience osteopenia, which is reduced bone mineral density. And a lot of these issues are reversible with collagen supplementation, which we previously didn't know. So it depends what you take into collagen for. But for example, if you want to take it to make your tendons and ligaments stronger or heal from some musculoskeletal injury or like ligament and tendon injury, you need to take about 10 to 15 grams of collagen 30 to 60 minutes before training to actually get it into the tendons and ligaments, because otherwise it will go to your skin and elsewhere, but it's just hard to get it into the tendons. So when they did research on athletes and they were doing their rehabilitation, let's say for patellar tendon, there was one research on American football players. They make them do their rehab exercises, like just a specific tendon loading for the patellar tendon 3 times a day for 10 minutes, and they gave them the collagen half an hour to 60 minutes before each of the session, and they had significant measurable difference in the tendon strength and tendon thickness after about 3 months of supplementing. Then if you do it for your bone health, you need less, and you need to take it for longer time because bone turnover is much longer. So for bone, you need to take it for about 12 months to see difference in your bone density.
I actually didn't know that. So someone who's got patella tendon issues at the minute,
Yeah.
I actually don't take my collagen 30 minutes before I go and do my rehab. And
need to. It's because ligaments and tendons have very poor blood flow, and it just doesn't get into them if you're just sitting around and taking it. You need to load them, stimulate them, increase the blood flow, and have it readily available in your bloodstream.
Great.
Yeah.
So are there any sort of drawbacks on just using collagen as like, well, I suppose you're probably not going to use collagen as your only source of protein. You're going to eat other things as well.
Yeah, if you say, let's say, if you weren't having any other protein and collagen was your only protein, then that it does have drawbacks, because collagen protein doesn't have full amino acid profile, doesn't have all the essential amino acid we need from our diet. It lacks tryptophan, and it's very low in amino acid leucine, which is the main amino acid for muscle building, for muscle hypertrophy. So if your diet is, if you eat beef and chicken and like animal proteins, and then you have the collagen on the top of it, that's fine because you're getting all the amino acids from the meat. But let's say if you are just eating fruits and then you wanted to have collagen for your only protein, that would not be enough. Because you would be missing on one of the essential amino acids, and you would have too low of a leucine. So it depends what your diet is.
So you need a bit of a balance there.
Yeah.
That probably leads us quite nicely onto the next topic, Veronika. So I know you're a big advocate of the carnivore diet.
Yes.
Are you still doing the carnivore diet?
Look,
at the minute?
I'm on and off carnivore. I did it for experimental and health reasons for 6 weeks, really strict. And now I do it because I like it, and also out of convenience, Monday to Friday, because I don't have to meal prep. I just bring raw steak with me to work and cook it for like 4 minutes and I'm done. And on the weekend, there's certain things I miss when I'm on carnivore diet. Like I like berries, I like avocado. So like I have a little bit of those things on the weekend. I have collagen chief bar. But yeah, I'm probably like 80% carnivore, I'd say.
Okay, right. So for those again that may be listening and don't necessarily know exactly what the carnivore diet is, what is the carnivore diet?
So carnivore diet is ketogenic diet that's only allows you to eat animal food, so no plants. So no fruits, veggies, herbs, spices, coffee, tea, nothing that's made from plants. So it's just water, salt, and then meat, fish, seafood, eggs, and you can have raw dairy in small amounts.
Okay. And why do people do this?
People do this for many reasons, but scientifically, if we like leave everything else away and just talk about the real reasons and the substance of this diet, is it's a ketogenic diet, which is hugely beneficial to your brain and lots of different conditions, as well as weight loss and other things. And it eliminates all the things that people can react to, such as anti-nutrients in veggies, so like oxalates, phytates, FODMAPs, things like that, and lectins. And then also, in today's world, if you think about fruits and vegetables, they have about 50% less of vitamins and minerals than what they had 50 years ago, because the soil is depleted. So the vitamins and minerals you think you're getting from the veggies, you're not getting because it's not enough of them. Most veggies are also veggies, grains, not so much veggies, but grains definitely genetically modified, sprayed with herbicide and pesticide that you can't wash off and that accumulates in your tissues, and it's neurotoxic, causes lots of different brain and digestive and health issues. So yeah, the people there on a carnivore diet just trying to avoid all that and also have highly nutritious diet, because at the moment with fruits and veggies not being as nutritious because of the depleted soil, meat, and especially organ meat, is actually the most nutritious and healthy food you can have, because there's all vitamins and minerals you need. If you eat organic grass-fed, grass-finished beef, there is no herbicide, pesticide, or antibiotics or any other chemical crap that it's in veggies and fruits. And even if you ate non-organic meat, the cattle can detoxify from the herbicide and pesticide to a certain extent, while fruits and veggies can't. Once it's on it, it's there and you can wash it, but it's not gonna go away. It's like putting a face cream on your face and then trying to wash it off next day, like it's already soaked in. So, yeah.
And is there any way around that, with obviously what you said there about the fruit and the veggies not being as nutritious as maybe they were in the past, due to like things like soil erosion? I mean, is there any way around that? Like, you know, if you go to Harris Farms and go to the organic section and pay for the expensive bananas, like,
I think shopping locally at let's say the Bondi markets, because the fruit and veg is local, it's harvested here and taken to the market, so it's not lying around for a very long time. Because if you get fruit and veggies from a supermarket and they're organic, they might have been lying somewhere in a storage or in a transport for a very long time, and as longer they're being stored, as less vitamins and minerals they have. So when you go to the markets, the veggies are locally grown, so not a lot of transportation time, and they are also seasonal. So again, they're not transported or stored for a very long time. So I think the local not just Bondi, but local farmers markets that have organic fruits and veg, that's your best way to get fruit and veggies. And that's, if I eat fruit and veg, that's where I go shopping.
Locally?
I don't get I only go to the Bondi markets on Saturday.
And what about some of the drawbacks then, Veronika, as well? So you sort of addressed the fact that you're not getting any sort of plant-based nutrients, but you're saying that's reduced anyway. Yeah, you don't need it. Increased cholesterol?
You look, the cholesterol myth that we know high cholesterol is dangerous, it's not actually proven anywhere. As a matter of fact, we do need cholesterol for our hormones, for our hormone production, for our cells production, for our brain. LDL cholesterol has been linked to longevity as well. It's the damage in the LDL cholesterol that can cause issues. So look, I'm not a doctor, but I know that the high cholesterol doesn't have to be issue as long as you don't have other, inflammation in your body that will cause damage in your arteries and the clogging and so on. But it's I wouldn't be worried too much about cholesterol.
And are there any dangers, I suppose, of like a high protein diet, like in terms of
so
impacts your kidneys? Maybe.
High protein diet doesn't impact your kidneys. That's also a myth.
So we're doing some myth busting
tonight. That's completely
tonight.
taken out of context. So high protein diet only impacts your kidneys when you already have a kidney disease.
Okay.
If you don't have kidney disease, high protein diet is not gonna cause you any harm. The problem with diet that's too high in protein is that you can get into this state called a rabbit starvation when you don't get enough fats for your hormones production and for other bodily functions. So the true carnivore diet is a ketogenic diet. It's very high in fat and moderate protein. So it's probably 75% fat and 25% protein. So you cook your steak in a lot of butter and ghee. You eat cream if you want to eat dairy. We use fatty cut of steaks, not just like lean steak cooked in air fryer. It's not gonna work. The other problem is with diet that's too high in protein and not enough fat is that when you have too much protein, your body will convert it into glucose, and that will kick you out of ketosis. So you don't really get the benefits from the diet. So yeah, it's definitely, that is right. You need to have enough fats, not just protein.
So let's talk about the benefits a bit more from the diet, from your own personal experience. So you talked about kurtosis there. Could you explain a little bit more about what kurtosis is?
So ketosis is a state when your body doesn't have enough carbohydrates and starts producing ketones, which your brain and your body then uses as a source of energy. And the benefits are more steady energy, clear thinking, you are less hungry, you burn more fat, you have just more sustained energy. And obviously more stable glucose levels in your blood. So it's very beneficial for people that have metabolic syndrome, diabetes, or people with brain issues like epilepsy, because stable blood sugar is very important for them to not get seizures.
So when you were doing the really strict 6 weeks, did you experience all this? Did you experience other things as well?
I didn't have coffee the whole time.
No way.
I felt so good. I didn't have, when I have coffee, I love it. I love the taste and smell of coffee. But to be honest, I get tired in the afternoon. And with the carnivore diet, I had lots of energy the whole time. I give you an example. I did ultra marathon on the last week of the carnivore diet. I did 2 days expo before the marathon. I set up for it by myself. I stood on my feet for 12 hours a day, worked at the expo at the ultra marathon. And then on day 3, I ran. I didn't have any carbohydrates, no coffee. I felt amazing throughout the race. Normally when I run ultra marathon and I have all the sugar and carbs for fuel, when I finish the race, I am tired, irritable, cold. I just don't want to do anything, just want to lie down and rest. When I finished this one, I was in the Blue Mountains. I didn't feel hungry. I had heaps of energy. I packed all my stuff, drove it back to our office, unloaded my whole car, drove back home, cleaned up my whole house, did all my washing. I was like on fire all day after running 50 kilometers in the mountains. So lots of energy, lots of brain energy as well, brain clarity. And then I did my DEXA scan, blood test, and gut microbiome test before and after to compare the results. And it was just in a space of 6 weeks, which is not very long time. And I had huge improvements in my gut microbiome, like really big. Like I had wrong ratio of some kind of bacteria that I don't want to bother you with, but it's completely went the other way around from good to bad, like reversed the ratio.
And what caused that? What part of the carnivore diet caused that? Do you know?
Not having the carbohydrates.
Really?
Yeah. And obviously I felt better. I had I put on 1 kilo of muscle in 6 weeks, which is a lot for my body size. And yeah, everything else was great. Like my vitamin D was through the roof, B12, iron, like just had a perfect blood test afterwards.
And how was your time in the ultramarathon?
Look, it wasn't my best effort because I didn't have time to train for it. I've been really busy this year. And I was obviously working at the expo as well before. But I don't remember. I didn't place too bad. I did quite well. Like I wasn't in the top 3, but I was somewhere in the top 10.
That's
In
still
female, yeah.
pretty bloody good,
Yeah, it was good.
to be honest. So, Veronika, could you sort of talk us through, so when you were in that 6 week really strict carnivore, could you talk us through a typical day?
So I thought at the beginning that I was gonna eat a lot of fish and different meats and dairy and stuff, and I did have good quality dairy at the start, like kefir and good Greek yogurt, but it was giving me sugar cravings because dairy has good sugar in it. So after the first week, I stopped having the dairy, and then I stopped having the fish, and I just, in the end, I didn't feel like eating anything else other than steak. And I just ate steak 2 or 3 times a day. Sometimes I had the chief carnivore biltong for a snack in the office, but yeah, there's not much to report. I just had steak whenever I was hungry, cooked in a lot of fat, and drank water and bone broth.
So it was just 2 steaks a day. That was the staple. And rumps, because the fatty cuts?
Scotch, rump, whatever. Yeah, just different steaks.
And what did you cook them up in?
Ghee.
Ghee?
And tallow. Yeah.
Incredible.
Yeah.
See, simple, right?
Simple, yeah. It tasted so good. I was completely satisfied. Wow. Didn't have any, after I ditched the dairy, I didn't have any cravings for anything.
Wow. How many calories do you reckon you're getting a day?
I didn't count calories. I don't really count calories.
Fair enough.
Can't be bothered.
Fair enough. Our newest sponsor, Cameron's Tallow, is changing the natural skincare game. Do you suffer from eczema, psoriasis, dermatitis, or acne scarring? Well, Cameron's Tallow Balm could be exactly what you need. Made from Australia's best grass-fed and grass-finished beef tallow, Cameron's Tallow Balm is great for skin nourishment and is perfect for dry and sensitive skin. If you're curious, you can check the guys out on Instagram at Cameron's Tallow and drop them a DM if you have any questions, or go to the website cameronstallow.com to find out more. I'll put all the details in the comment section below. Cheers. You've obviously done that ultra marathon on this carnivore diet, which is 2 steaks a day and a few other things here and there. Why is it still common practice for so many marathon and ultra marathon runners to carbo load, to have a plate of pasta the night before, oats in the morning, banana, all these gels? Why is that still common practice?
Well, I think there's 2 things. We've been indoctrinated with this whole food pyramid and stuff, saying that we need all these grains and carbohydrates, but it's just food politics. We don't need it, but it sells. And as a matter of fact, because of the food pyramid and because of people eating all these white carbs, highly processed carbs, white bread, grains, and all that, why do you think so many people have diabetes and blood sugar issues and obesity? That wasn't like that before all these grain bullshit, like everything. So I think that's one thing, is the food politics and the advertising, but also, to be honest, so I run trail marathons or ultra marathons, and that's not, you can't run as fast as on a road because you're running up and down mountains, you're jumping over things. It's not as fast. Even the fastest ultra marathon in the world is not as fast as the road runner. And on the road is very quick. And having the sugar, it's a quick source of energy. It does help. I'm not gonna lie. Like if I was running a road marathon tomorrow and I wanted to do really fast time, I would have the gels as well. But I wouldn't have in training. I wouldn't have them on daily basis. I would just have them for the race and that's it. But yes, we are being told that we need all these carbohydrates when we don't. And there is a lot of movement now in the world of food and food politics, and a lot of doctors are now, pointing out that we do not need fiber, we do not need all these carbs, it's harmful for us, it's causing all the health issues in the world, like most of them. What are the biggest issues in the world? Obesity and diabetes, metabolic syndrome, and it all comes from eating the wrong food. It's not just the carbohydrates, obviously, all the ultra-processed foods, which are also mostly made from grains and stuff like that. So yeah, I think it's just we just unfortunately have been tricked into something that we shouldn't be doing as a humans.
We live in quite a bipolar world now where you're either on this side of the argument or this side of the argument. There's not a lot of people that sort of hang about in the middle and go, oh, I can see that side, I can see the benefits over here, and I can see the benefits over here as well. See, when you were doing that 6-week strict carnivore diet, you were posting quite a lot on Instagram, like just sort of daily updates and stuff. Did you cop any shit from people?
No, I actually didn't. I was surprised. I thought that I was gonna get some shit from vegans and stuff, but I didn't. I had a lot of support. I don't really remember if I had any negative comments. No, I don't think so.
Yeah,
surprised.
I've just seen, the reason I asked the question is because I've seen other Bondi based people who follow like a caveman or a carnivore diet, and they cop a lot of shit. If you ever find yourself scrolling through some of their comments, they cop a lot of shit, unfortunately. So I was interested to see.
I was surprised that they might have been some comments like, are you worried about high cholesterol and something like that, but nothing too major. No.
When you did those metrics at the end, did you do cholesterol before and after, just out of interest?
Yeah, my cholesterol was higher, obviously.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's dangerous.
Okay.
It's fine. Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Should everyone do a carnivore diet?
Look, I don't think everyone should do it. I only think you should do whatever you feel like doing. I think rather than doing carnivore diet, which I think it's still the safest and healthiest way to eat, but I don't even stick to it 100% myself. I think rather than just being extreme and thinking straight about carnivore diet, I think everyone would be better off if they started to eat fresh, real food and just steer away from ultra-processed foods. I think that's the worst. That's what's causing a lot of issues.
So when you're saying ultra-processed foods, Veronika, again, for people who might not know what that is, can you give some examples?
So these are foods that are not even a food. They resemble a food, but they're synthetically derived. And how you recognize them? If you turn around, flip the packaging and look at the back of the packaging and see the ingredient list, and you see ingredients like emulsifiers, stabilizers, numbered ingredients, soy isolate, milk solids, all those things that you don't even know what they are, sugar alcohols. That is ultra-processed food. It's not a real food. Real food is apple. Real food is piece of steak. Real food is kale.
So can you give examples like breads and pastas and things like that?
Yeah, breads and pastas as well. Like, if you buy a freshly baked sourdough, it is processed because even cooking is processing. If you buy freshly baked sourdough, it's processed, that's fine. If you go to supermarket and buy the equivalent, it's in a packet, and you see how many chemicals it's in there, that's ultra processed. These ingredients are not recognized by our body as food. They're toxins, and they're harmful to your body because they accumulate, and it depends how easily your body can detoxify from it. Some people have better detoxification, some people worse. So some people get sick quicker and some people get sick later. It's same as with smoking. Some people can smoke for many years and don't get cancer until they're 80, and some people get cancer when they're 40 because they don't detoxify as well. So the toxins in the food are same as the toxins in cigarettes or alcohol. It's just toxin, and it's not just the additives in food, but it's also the herbicides and pesticides. In the United States, they tested all of the fast food chains and foods like burgers and stuff, like breads, whatever. And they found high levels of herbicide and pesticide in all of them. So, and that's really damaging to our body. Like herbicide and pesticides are highly toxic.
So for those people who struggle to sort of break down the toxins, like what symptoms will they notice if they've eaten a lot of these ingredients that you've talked about, or a lot of these pesticides?
Well, some of the symptoms don't show straight away. You get low-grade chronic inflammation when your body is a little bit inflamed all the time, and that damages your tissues. It can lead to any chronic disease, diabetes, metabolic syndrome, osteoporosis, heart disease. It depends again on your genetics, but everyone will get affected by it. You get brain fog, you can get symptoms like chronic fatigue, can have lowered immune system, you can develop cancer from inflammation. There's a lot of things. So yeah, it's a problem.
Sorry, I interrupted you there.
Yeah.
To circle back to the original
carnivore
question.
diet. So okay, in the ideal world, we will all be carnivores and don't eat anything that's got toxins. However, there are cultural influences, like people like to eat certain foods because of their culture. People like cooking, like I like chopping veggies, I like cooking. People like to go out into restaurants. So, we're not going to make everyone carnivore, but what I was trying to say, if everyone ate real food, eat vegetables, eat fruits, eat meat, eat eggs, nuts, whatever is a real food, the way it grew up, not genetically modified, not sprayed with herbicide and pesticide, not like enriched with any additives, then I think we would be much better off.
Perfect. Thanks, Veronika. I suppose, my next question is just going to circle back to Chief Nutrition. You've been going for quite a while now. You're saying it's starting to go pretty well. It's been a big year for you guys. You've got a full range of products now. Your stuff's being sold in Woolies, which is fantastic. What's next for Chief Nutrition? What are the next 2 or 3 years look like?
Well, next we're launching in the United States next month. So that's a big one. We already have lots of bars going to the United States, landing in 2 weeks.
Was that difficult to get your product into the United States?
There's a lot of hoops to jump through, lots of regulations, but it's not majorly difficult. So that's one thing. We're only starting online though. We'll just start with online sales and then see where it takes us. So that's probably our biggest thing. And then we're developing few new products. I think that's enough.
Can you give us a little insight into what these new products are?
We've been trying to make a carnivore bar this year, we had some amazing samples, but they don't have very long shelf life, because when you make a carnivore product, ideally it doesn't have anything in it, like even vinegar that you normally use to preserve meat. So it's just meat and salt, and it's very hard to preserve. So we're working on that, and then we're making some new flavors of the collagen powder. That's it for now. And we have got one new product that's like a liver powder in a pouch that we just launched.
Perfect. Amazing. Well, Veronika, that's all I had. Thank you very much for coming in for a chat this evening. I certainly learned a lot. Got a little bit scared, but learned a lot as well.
I'm glad you learned. Thanks for listening to my lectures.
Thank you, Veronika. Cheers.
Thank you.